Hey everyone, how are you doing? It is Barron with my lip balm on, my Paula's Choice Lip and Body Treatment Balm. I'm the Director of Skincare Research at Paula's Choice Skincare, here with you for our now bi-weekly live chats, and it is Wednesday, March 18th. Thank you for joining me. Today's show is going to be an Ask Me Anything, an AMA show, so whatever's on your mind about skincare, cosmetic ingredients, um, you could even ask me about hair care, makeup. It's all fair game. Um, and wow, what a difference! What a difference 2 weeks makes, huh? I don't think there is anyone on this planet who is not now intimately familiar with coronavirus, what that means, what we all need to start doing, what we all need to start being more aware of. Um, it's just absolutely stunning what's going on, and I think all of us are just trying to do the best we can. I work from home. I work remotely year round, save for there's a few times a year that I am traveling for business, and I'm in Seattle. I try to be there in our U.S. headquarters in Seattle about once per quarter, and I had a trip scheduled for next month that we had to cancel because of what was going on and because the entire Seattle team, everyone who feasibly can do so is working from home. Um, and then, so from what I've heard, it's kind of a ghost town around the office, but we are still working behind the scenes to the best of our ability to bring you new products, to keep improving what we do, to help you have great skin. Of course, our client services team remains actively engaged, and you can always reach out to us via any of our social platforms too. So please, especially if you are spending more time at home, and more than likely you are, um, and you want to talk skincare, talk about our products, hit us up. We are here and we're ready to help. Because of what is going on with shipping all over the country, there are likely going to be some delays in Paula's Choice orders. Won't get them as fast as you used to. I'm a big shopper on Amazon. I know a lot of you are too, and I read today that they are going to be stopping shipments of what they consider non-discretionary items in order to, like, gifty type things, albums, books, I suppose, in favor of those household type essentials that a lot of people are ordering en masse to keep up with what's going on and try to stay ahead of this novel coronavirus. So, if you have any questions related to skincare around that, I can help. We can definitely talk about. Not that there's like specific skincare products you should be using to prevent coronavirus. I wish I could say just put this on and you're good. Wouldn't that be nice? But one of the things that I have noticed and heard from quite a few people is with all of us washing our hands much more than apparently a lot of us did in the past. I'm certainly washing my hands more, but I'm not one of those people that considered myself a lazy hand washer. I wish, though, full disclosure, I haven't been as good as I should have been with my son and making him wash his hands. And after going to the bathroom and before meals, yes, but like just getting home from being out and about and he runs into the house and runs right past the bathroom and I'm just like, whatever. Now I'm not like that. Now I'm more like, Dashiell, you are washing your hands. It's like shoes off, coat off, put them away, hand wash. As a result of that, and also as a result of the more frequent hand washing he's doing at his daycare, the tops of his little hands have just gotten so red and irritated. So one of the things that we've been doing here at home is putting a very rich moisturizer on them at night. I am currently out of our body butter from Paula's Choice, so I've been swapping in a cream from Eucerin in their eczema relief line. It comes in a large tube. They actually, well, is it called eczema relief? There's a smaller version of it that they make that this is kind of irksome because it costs just as much money as the bigger size, and from what I can tell, they're identical formulas. So when you see the smaller size, if the bigger one's available, even if it doesn't say eczema on it, because I wish I had it right here, just get that one and try that. Or order the Paula's Choice Body Butter, which is phenomenal for that. We also have our replenishing body cream, which you can use if you want something a bit lighter. But as a general rule, I'll see if you guys have specific questions about that. But especially when you're at home, get into the habit of putting on some sort of a moisturizer. It does not have to be labeled a hand cream every time you wash your hands. So just plop a few of those around your hand washing stations, kitchen, bathroom, wet bar, whatever, and just start using it and get into the habit of doing that too. The manner in which surfactants, detergent cleansing agents is another term, or even just plain old soap works to clean the skin can cause varying degrees of barrier disruption, and so can the frequent exposure to water. Too much water actually breaks down skin's barrier over time. Interesting, huh? Because we're always told that in order to improve dry skin, we need to drink more water. And it turns out that a lot of the water that we drink really doesn't make it to our skin, and that the living layers of our skin, the lower layers, actually have a relatively low water content. So yes, water is important to skin, but we don't need as much as we're led to believe for skin health. We do know, like I said, that it can break down skin's barrier. Ironically, there are comparative studies of healthcare workers, some of whom were told to use soap and water to wash their hands. And healthcare workers are a good audience for this because they are required to wash their hands multiple times per day, upwards of 30, 40 times. Some of you who work in the health industry may be like, yeah, try 100 times. I don't know exactly, but I think from what I've seen in the studies, 30 to 40 times per shift is an average, but it may be on the low side. Anyway, they had a group wash with soap and water, and then they had another group that only did a hand sanitizer that had at least, I believe it's 60% ethanol or ethanol, SD alcohol, and then they found out that the people in the group that used the hand sanitizer actually had more of their skin's barrier intact. Alcohol in that amount can absolutely be irritating to skin. It can absolutely cause barrier disruption. I have a feeling that one of the things that helps in the case of the hand sanitizers that have so much alcohol is that there are some conditioning agents in there as well that can help offset some of that barrier damage. Kind of the lesser of two evils if you're cleaning your hands a lot. So keep that in mind if you can find hand sanitizer. I'm told that in our area, some stores will be getting more of it by Friday. We'll see. And I know there's a ton of DIY recipes online to make your own hand sanitizer, which is fine. Just as a quick aside, though, don't sanitize your hands with like vodka or gin. The alcohol content of those spirits is not high enough to kill germs. It needs to be at least 60%, which would equate to a proof of 120 or even more. Whereas most liquors top out at 80 to 90. You can find some, I know they're out there, that are 120 proof or more. Yes, those would work because the ethanol content is that much higher. So whatever the proof is, just divide that by 2 and that'll get you your alcohol content, although it is usually stated on the label as well. But I don't want anyone thinking that they can get a bottle of cheap vodka, for example, and use that to keep their hands sanitized. It just doesn't have enough alcohol to really work in that capacity. So save those for your martinis. Okay, let's get to some questions. Let's see. Let's start the questions with Joan. I've seen a new PC Probiotic moisturizer in orange packaging. Can you talk about it? Love from the quarantine Spain. Hello, Spain. Thanks for watching. Hang in there. This too shall pass. So yes, we do have, I can't say too much about it, but we do have a new facial moisturizer launching in the near future, and it does take advantage of, we've come up with an interesting blend of biotics that I think a lot of you are really going to like. And we are not making claims that the probiotics balance your microbiome, because that is not what probiotics do. That job typically falls to prebiotics, because the prebiotics can serve as food sources for the specific blend of flora on your skin's microbiome that it needs to balance itself. So this product will help your skin's microbiome balance itself naturally, but the probiotics are not what's doing that. So look for that product soon. It is for all skin types. I'm going to butcher this name. Madia Amozagar. Apologies if I completely said that wrong. Hi, I use PC 8% AHA a few times per week. It stings a bit for 2 minutes, but it gets okay afterwards. So am I wondering if I should stop using it? As long your skin should adapt to that. What's happening is because that exfoliant is a lower pH. I believe that's around 3.4. Although we state a range on our website because over time the pH can shift just a little bit. So like what starts as a 3.4, maybe 9 months down the road, if you test it again, is a 3.6. Still effective, but truth is it moved a bit. In order to hold a lower pH exactly where you want it to, it requires a much greater amount of ingredients like sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide or even citric acid that we feel would tip the scales in favor of irritation. So because of the acidic nature of these products, some people may feel some initial stinging. It can depend on how sensitive your skin is. It's good news that it is not persisting. It's good news that it is dissipating within a couple of minutes. I generally tell people to stick with it, and the sensitization, that initial stinging, should subside after a couple of weeks, maybe even sooner. If it doesn't and it's still bothersome to you, talk to our client services team. They can recommend an alternate exfoliant for you. Another option that you could try is, as your skin gets used to this, is you could mix your exfoliant with your nighttime moisturizer or another treatment type product, basically as a means of slowing the penetration into skin. You will not be raising the pH of the exfoliant to the point where it won't be effective. In order to do that, you would literally need to take like 1 pump of our exfoliant, or a dime-sized amount, for example, and put that into a vat of moisturizer that has a different pH, and then wait a long period of time for the pH of the exfoliant to change. So just trying to reassure you that it takes a lot to move that pH out of where you need it to be effective, and mixing an exfoliant and a moisturizer together if you need to buffer it is just fine. It's about buffering the penetration. It's not about changing the pH. Adam asks, how different is the texture of the body butter to the clinical facial moisturizer? I currently use the clinical, but wondering if the body butter would be a good alternative, even though it sounds odd. So Adam, first things first, there are some slight differences. There is no reason you cannot use the body butter on your face or even around your eyes if your skin is that dry. A good scenario for that would be cold weather. You know, you're living in a colder climate or visiting a colder climate, the humidity's low, maybe you're outside snowshoeing or skiing and you want to put something really kind of thick and heavy to really seal in that moisture and prevent the dry air that you're in from causing your skin to lose water. It has to maintain that balance of water, but you don't want too much, you don't want to have not enough. The aesthetics of the clinical ultra rich facial moisturizer are smoother than the body butter. That product was formulated after the body butter, and admittedly, because of the high amount of shea butter and mango seed butter in the clinical body butter, I feel like I'm going to stutter any minute now, it has a bit more drag on the skin, and we were aware of that. We've looked at some various solutions to fix that and haven't come up with something that we're happy with without getting some sort of formulary separation, which we always try to avoid, but it's something that's in the back of our minds. The clinical is a different composition of ingredients. There's just some shifts that happened, and we purposely made that product have a bit more slip so it glides more easily over the face. So there you go. You can use either one on the face, either one on the body. Oreo Rocky says, hi, I'm using BHA Body 2% for 6 months. I think it worked in my case, but but acne is back when I stop using. Should I use benzoyl peroxide too? So you can certainly use benzoyl peroxide too, with the caveat that you want, if you're applying it to the body, be aware that because of the peroxide element of that ingredient, even after it is dried, it can still bleach bed sheets or towels. I would say more so bed sheets, because like if you put it on at night, obviously you're getting exposed to that, and then in this scenario, you shower in the morning, you're washing what remains off, and then you're toweling off. So there's much less of a risk of it bleaching your towels in that scenario than it would your sheets. So if you're using it for backne or acne on the chest, the solution is to put it on after the BHA product, let it dry, and then just go to sleep wearing a t-shirt or some other shirt that you do not mind getting stained or bleach spots on, because that will happen. I've ruined a pair of sheets years ago doing that, and I thought I was waiting, and I was like, nope, it's dry, it's good, and at some point during the night, I must have started sweating or something, and it transferred to the sheets, and it bleached them. So the other point to make is that when you are dealing with breakouts, oftentimes you need to keep using the products that work as a means of maintaining. So although it's great that the breakouts that you had got under control with your ongoing use, you stopped using it, and then your skin went back to the way it was before, because it just needs that extra help that the salicylic acid can deliver in terms of thinning the excess oil, in terms of keeping the follicle lining of all those pores from backing up with oil and debris and dead skin cells. You just need to keep at it, and it's true for a lot of people with breakouts. You'll get to a point where you don't have to deal with this anymore, but if it consistently keeps coming back after you stop your treatment, you're going to have to keep using the treatment. It's kind of like using a nutritional supplement, and you're getting these great benefits. Maybe your nails are stronger, or maybe you have more energy, and then you think, okay, great, problem solved, I'm going to stop taking that supplement, and then 2-3 weeks later, you're back to feeling or looking the way you were before. Your nails are getting more brittle, whatever. And as soon as you start taking that supplement again, you're on an upswing. It's kind of the same concept here. Okay, Eileen Mendez, what products would you use for excessively dry eyelids? Oh, well, before I recommend products, Eileen, I would want, and this is a great question, I think this is something a lot of people struggle with, you need to determine what is making your eyelids so dry. It could be eczema, some people get it there. It could be a seborrheic dermatitis, which is like a buildup of excess oil that then gets dry, flaky, kind of oily, yellow-looking skin over it. It could also be, this is something I read years back, and it makes a lot of sense, but if you use nail polish or some other sort of like top coat, anything that you're painting on your nails that like starts as a liquid and then dries like paint, and then you touch the skin around your eyes, you rub your eyelids, the volatile chemicals, even after they set, can cause an allergic contact dermatitis on your eyelids. So consider that. If you're not quite sure what's doing it, and you are getting manicures and having nail polish or some sort of a base or top coat put on, stop that for a while. Let your nails be naked and see if your eyelid dermatitis improves. Other things that can be triggers for that would be certain ingredients in eye makeup, potentially. Luckily, most eye makeup like eyeliner, eyeshadows, mascaras are fragrance-free, but sometimes, check your ingredient list, sometimes manufacturers will sneak in, no, not sneak in as in like, I can't say I know what they're thinking as to why they're including these ingredients, but they're using fragrant plant extracts that can also cause this issue in those susceptible to it. So in terms of treating it, because it's on your eyelid and you really can't get much closer to the eye itself than that, and because the skin on the eyelids is so thin and so delicate, you really want to look to very bland, gentle, fragrance-free, that's a given, balm or emollient type ointmenty products. CeraVe healing ointment, Aquaphor healing ointment, both of which are available at most drugstores, and you can typically get very tiny trial sizes of them if you want to test it out. In a pinch, plain petroleum jelly, aka Vaseline, is also worth trying. I am not anti-petroleum jelly, anti-Vaseline. It's just rather one note, and a product like the CeraVe or the Aquaphor is also going to contain those ingredients, that ingredient, along with other good for your skin ingredients. So I kind of like, and they're still gentle. So the other thing that you could consider, maybe check with a pharmacist first, is for 3 to 5 days, apply a very thin layer of an over-the-counter hydrocortisone cream and give it a moment to absorb, and then follow with an ointment type product like I described. I wouldn't use something like Neosporin or Polysporin or any sort of an antibiotic ointment over what I already suggested. So give that a try and let me know how you do. Roel asks, Paula's Choice got glycolic, salicylic, and a retinol body product. Do you think in the future we get a niacinamide or vitamin C body product? I think our body cream, let me double check here. I think our body cream has niacinamide in it. But if you're talking about like a specific, more of a treatment-oriented level of niacinamide, because just like vitamin C, niacinamide has efficacy at various concentrations, including lower concentrations. And then the higher you get, the more you're talking about specific or more advanced concerns where you're going to see more dramatic results because more dramatic results are needed. Nope, we didn't. Okay. I will pass that on. I'm not opposed to something like that. Both of those ingredients are fine to use on the body. If you have some body concerns like uneven tone or issues around pore size that are in a smaller area, for example, a lot of people get sun damage on their chest area. There's no reason you couldn't apply a product like our C15 booster or the clinical 20% niacinamide booster to that area as well as your face, just as a matter of course. But we'll keep that in mind. Okay, we did. Anna asks, can I just start my morning routine with my exfoliant without washing or wetting my face? It always feels a bit weird, but I don't like to wash my face in the mornings. So you can certainly try that and see how you do. It's absolutely not a cardinal sin to forego washing your face in the morning, particularly if you have very dry, sensitive skin. However, I also think it's good to get rid of any product residue from the night before because your skin cells are continuing to shed. You want to get those off. That can't help, they can mix with the product residue. Not a whole lot of them, because you're using the exfoliant. It's really about starting your morning routine with a clean slate. The reason why I think it's okay for people with really dry or uncomfortably dry sensitive skin to look at skipping the morning facial cleanse is because you often need as many of those oil type ingredients from the night before, and it's not going to bother your skin to start the morning routine with that nighttime layer still intact. The other thing to consider though is if you are a person that wears makeup, you may find that the combination of your daytime routine products layered over what was left over from the night before might be a little bit too much. You may start experiencing makeup fading. It just doesn't last as long. Very individual response, though. You'll need to experiment with that on your own and see if that describes you, and in which case I would say Yes, wash your face. At the very least, splash it with water and gently pat dry, because water does have solvent properties. So it is going to take some of that residue away. A cleanser is going to get you all the way there, but water can help. Okay, Nancy says, what a relief to have an hour of watching you instead of coronavirus news. I needed this. Me too. Oh my gosh. I was talking to my coworker, Desiree, and I said, I'm already tired of this like constant feeling of anxiety around this, and just, I mean, we can't predict the future. None of us really knows exactly what's going to happen next. We can hope, we can plan, we can project. And this is just, it's like there's so many balls in the air with this. There's so many wild cards, and it's changing so quickly. It's you just really need to take that time to focus on other things. Absolutely perfect time for self-care, and then extending that opportunity to your loved ones, encouraging them to take better care of themselves and not get, you know, eyes glued to the screen to that 24-hour news cycle. Believe me, I know it's not as easy as it sounds. Marcus asks, hi Bryan, are you able to give us more info on the prebiotic moisturizer? Well, other than saying it's called probiotic moisturizer, because that is the more familiar term in the marketplace, I can't tell you any more than I already have. But it's from us, you know it's going to be good. You know we've been looking at this for a while. I hope you guys like it. You know, we're looking at, we've been bringing out some standalone products, particularly in the category of moisturizers and also some cleansing type products, because those are so critical. Those are like the two products most people looking to get into skincare will start with. They want a cleanser, they want a moisturizer. They'll start there, and then they kind of build their routine out from there depending on their additional needs, and who they like shopping from, and so on and so forth. So one of the things that you've told us through surveys and whatnot, and this is both new and existing, longer term, not that new customers aren't existing customers, let's say new Paula's Choice customers and people who've been with the brand for 3 to 5 years. You've told us that the fact that we have so many routines makes it hard to shop our line when you just want a couple of products, because you see these routines banded together and, you know, everything's color coded and it's part of this collection and that collection. And it seems overwhelming when you're new to the skincare line because you just want a couple of things. So we're trying to give more people those options of having those essential products that you can find that are not necessarily tied to a specific full-fledged routine that you may not be ready to jump into just yet. Of course, it's always, you know, it doesn't mean you can't look at resist or skin balancing and pick one product from there to start with and then see what you think. Of course not. But I think it's more from that psychological consumer mindset of, you know, it can be reassuring to see that standalone product and say, oh, that's a facial moisturizer. That's what I need. I don't need a cleanser and toner and exfoliant and sunscreen. You know, maybe later, but right now I just want to start with this one thing. So that's the idea. Okay, Rebecca, did I go? I don't want to miss questions here. Okay, we got Rebecca. What about the SPF 50 lip balm? Is that coming back? That is going to be coming back, but not in the current form. We are going to be bringing out something that we hope everyone will feel is new and improved. The reason for that is that there was a couple of raw material discontinuations for that particular lip balm that we were not able to replace and have everything be the way it is now. So we've switched to Plan B, and look for that in the not too distant future, but it's not going to be here next week. Okay, hi Bryan, this is from Tala. What do you think to launch Paula's Choice brand in Pakistan? Pakistan truly needs best skincare products. I agree. I mean, the more countries we can make our products available, the more great skincare, period, that can be available to people around the globe. I'm all for it. I don't know right now, just off the top of my head, why we're not distributed in Pakistan. I would have to check with our international team and find out if that is a market that we're looking to get into. There's all kinds of considerations, type of a retail distributorship, and every now and then there's regulations that can prevent us from offering the product assortment that we would like. But I will pass that on. Okay. The screen went a little callywumpus, so I'm trying to figure out where I left off. Oh, hi Anna, AZ, Ola, Bryan, how to tell the difference between dry and dehydrated skin. We do have an article on this, expert advice, dry skin section. Look for it there, kind of detail. It goes into more detail than I'm going to take the time to do right now. But in a nutshell, dry skin tends to be more of a persistent concern. No matter what you do, in the absence of using good skincare, your skin is dry. If you wash your face and then wait 20, 30 minutes without putting any other products on, your skin feels tight, it's uncomfortable, you're just like counting the seconds until you can slather it with moisturizer. That's dry skin. Dehydrated skin tends to be more of a temporary condition, can be brought on by seasonal changes, travel, even like stress and a brief like change in your diet when you were on this healthy nutritional food kick, and then work and life got the best of you and you started eating not so great, among other things. That when we get into that mindset, a lot of things tend to compound. We're not sleeping as well, we're more stressed, we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not not even taking regular deep breaths, and that can all reflect and play a part in how dehydrated skin gets, some more directly than others, but it all plays a part. So dehydrated skin is temporary. It is usually remedied fairly quickly when things balance out in your environment or with your life, or you can use various products like an overnight mask, and then you wake up the next day and wash your face and you're like, woohoo, soft, smooth, and hydrated, no more dehydration. But do check out that article that we wrote. Oh, Shabarni. I have acne-prone skin with acne marks on the left and right side of my face. I use BHA liquid 3 times a day and 1% retinol treatment. How do I use? And I do use SPF. How can I reduce my acne marks? So I'm assuming we're talking about post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which is the discolorations left over when a acne blemish has gone away. It's a reminder of your skin's healing response. If you are lighter complected like me, those marks are likely going to be pink to red. The more melanin you have in your skin, the more melanin gets involved in that inflammation response. So therefore, your post-acne marks are more likely to be tan to brown, even all the way to black, depending on how dark your complexion is. They can be grayish for some people. There's a little bit of a rainbow there. And people with lighter skin tones can have that as well, again, depending on how much melanin you have beneath the surface. The biggest piece of advice I can give you, since you're really doing everything that I would normally recommend in terms of the basics, is patience. And I know that's easier said than done. Even with using great skincare products, those marks can still take 3 to 6 months to fade. What I have seen some nice improvement in from my own personal experience, because I do get those marks. So in fact, even though I don't break out nearly as much as I used to, when I do get a pimple, it's usually pretty bad. And I know no matter what I do to minimize the pimple and treat it along the way, I know I'm going to have a post-acne mark. It's just a foregone conclusion. So what I have found that helps is layering our 10% niacinamide booster with the 10% azelaic acid booster. And I just apply that cocktail to that area. Now you could try one or the other and see which one works for you. They work in different ways on the pathway that fuels both inflammation and extra melanin response. Niacinamide has more going for it from an anti-melanin anti-excess melanin, I should say, standpoint. So if your marks are of the darker variety, I would say go with either the 10 or the 20% niacinamide formulas that we have. Your routine would be to put on your BHA exfoliant, and I think really twice a day with that, morning and night, I think is fine. I don't think you need to do 3 times. So put it on, put your exfoliant on in the morning, the one you're using now. Apply the niacinamide product wherever it's needed. It's perfectly fine to apply either of those all over your face if you choose to do so. Not going to hurt you. And then follow in the morning with your SPF, and at night any other treatment type or moisturizer, hydrator type products that you use. Another thing you could look at doing if you live in a market where we are allowed to retail this product is use our BHA 9 spot treatment. So in your situation, you could do one of two things. You could keep using the 2% BHA liquid during the day, and then at night, if you really want to, push it, you could do the 2% BHA liquid as usual, and then top that with the BHA 9 treatment. It is a concentrated 9% salicylic acid spot treatment. It is a controlled release. You're not getting that big hit of salicylic acid all at once. It's delivered over a period of time. You may see enhanced results with that. None of this is going to be overnight. Just bear that in mind. But I'm thinking with the combination that I discussed, you could potentially, if you're diligent about it, cut that time that they take to fade to a really noticeable degree by half. And that's exciting. I mean, for me, that's worth it. Okay. Jesse, what are some of the most noteworthy scientific journals that you guys follow in order to get all the information about skincare? There isn't like a single list there, because we get research from all over the place. I mean, the British Journal of Dermatology is one that comes up a lot. The Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology. What's that short one? Contact Dermatitis publishes a lot of good stuff. The Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology. What's another one that we see quite a bit? PLOS1. But one of the exciting things about the way that we do research is that we aren't just laser focused on research as it pertains to skin. We look at research as it pertains to a wider range of ingredients that can impact skin, as well as environmental sources that can impact skin. And then we put that together with our knowledge and with what the research about skin-specific issues says. And that informs a lot of the decisions we make around which ingredients to include, how to blend them together, how to deliver them to the skin, what concentration should be used. Something in the teeth. Lovely. And on and on and on. So I don't necessarily have like 3 scientific or medical journals that I would say, these hands down. And what's interesting about all of them is that they can run a little hot and cold. Like sometimes they'll publish something and it's like a super well designed study, it's peer reviewed, there's no conflict of interest, meaning like, a pharmaceutical company funded this, and what do you know, they happen to be selling a product that contains that ingredient. That's not necessarily bad, but it's something that you have to be aware of when you're looking at the study, and then base your decision on how reliable do you feel this research is. So they're just, and as I was saying, there isn't like a clear-cut winner, like, this publication gets it right every time. There's a lot of critical thinking involved, and thankfully we're here to do that for you. We learn as well. I can't tell you the number of back and forths I have in a given month with Paula. Yes, Paula is still involved. Some of you are, I've seen the comments. Some of you think she isn't. She does not own the company anymore, but she's absolutely still involved. And if anything, her involvement right now is much more focused on exactly what we were just talking about, the research and how it applies to our products and how it applies to creating the types of products that keep Paula's Choice front and center among the best skincare brands out there. And I have no qualms saying that. Obviously, we're not the only game in town when it comes to great skincare, but we are one of the best. We just are. Okay, Jesse, got that question. Marilyn, I will be turning 48 in August, and thanks to Paula's products, which I've been using since 1999, almost as actually a little bit longer than me. I look a little bit younger, but I'm starting to notice laugh lines in the 11 lines, and would love to know what specific products to start implementing into my daily routine. I use Paula's Choice Skin Balancing Cleanser and Toner 2 times daily, and my first love, the 2% BHA liquid at night after toner. Proactive Repairing Lotion twice a day. I think that's their benzoyl peroxide product, and coconut oil twice a day to moisturize. Thank you and love from the Sunshine State. Sunshine State is Florida. Marilyn, are you wearing your sunscreen? You did not mention that. I hope you are. If you've been using our products this long without sunscreen, I'm going to be very upset. It's just so critical, and I don't need to go down that road. You guys all know that. So I would absolutely look. Where did your question start? So you're 47 now. So you're a little older than me. I'm 46. I'll be 47 at the end of the year. Laugh lines and the 11 lines. The 11 lines are really tough to treat with skincare. Those are expression lines that are right between the brows. Back when I was having Botox done, I haven't had it done in, gosh, probably 8-9 years now. I'm not opposed to having it done. I just haven't gone out and done it again. But when I first started doing Botox, I got it specifically in this area because those lines bugged me. It just made it look like I was, mad all the time. And I wasn't. So skincare, products like exfoliants and ingredients like niacinamide and hyaluronic acid for plumping, they all play a role. And of course, so does sun protection, because that is fundamental to skin's health and helps preserve skin's underlying support structure, which won't stop those muscle contractions that cause the expression line, but they will help shore up skin's underlying support structure so that those lines don't become even deeper. But this is really an issue, and it's very similar for laugh lines, where you really have to address the facial muscular issue, and that is where injections like Botox or Dysport, which is a similar product made by a different company, both of them are worth asking about. Your dermatologist may prefer one or the other or offer both, and if they offer both, you could say, well, tell me, for my particular situation, which one do you recommend? I just think, and you're not too young to consider it, I just think that you'd be happier because you get Botox between the brows and very carefully done around the laugh lines, they will go away. And you will not, if it's done well by someone who knows what they're doing, you won't look expressionless. You will be able to raise your eyebrows. The art and science of that has come a long, long way. So I don't want you to be worried about it. It's a financial investment, yes, depending on how much they feel you need. When I had it done years ago, because it was in a smaller area, it was typically around $300. But it would last me 6 to 9 months. And so for me to not have to worry about that and to know that I was doing what research has shown provides the best results and is also safe, I was okay with that. If your budget differs or that time commitment doesn't sound like something you want to do, the next best thing is to look at those temporary line filling type products that have different brands make them. Peter Thomas Roth has one, Philosophy has one, Estee Lauder, their Perfectionist product, that's like a whole little collection, but I think they still have a specific product in their Perfectionist line that serves this purpose. And they are essentially like a soft spackle. And sometimes they're dispensed via a brush or some sort of an applicator tip, and you just basically paint or smooth over the depressions, and then it temporarily fills them in by forming like this. It's usually a silicone type mesh network. How long it lasts is going to depend on how expressive you are. If you are someone who's very animated, you may get a good 30 to 40 minutes before you kind of look like you didn't do anything at all. Trade-offs, you're not going to spend as much money, and it's something that you can put on daily, and maybe it has other ingredients in there that are going to help your skin. Whereas I'm of the mindset that because Botox works so well for those two concerns, it's more of a set it and forget it type thing, at least for a much longer period of time. That's where I would steer you towards if you're comfortable with it. I would love to say put on our peptide booster and that'll solve the problem, or start using vitamin C, but it's just not going to do it for those particular concerns. You'll see other benefits, no question, but not for the laugh lines and for the 11s. Some people also call them bunny feet. If you're referring to this area at all, you would not get Botox in this area. It's the nasolabial folds. But this, if you're seeing more like indentations or visible lines here, meaning like when you're expressionless, you still see that line, and then of course it shows up again when you smile, that is the purview of a dermal filler like hyaluronic acid. Botox typically is not injected into this part of the face because it's just a much larger muscular area, and it could potentially impact your ability to chew or to keep your mouth closed, which, you know, I like doing that when I have to, both of those things. So that's where dermal fillers, typically hyaluronic acid, come in, and they have come a long way as well, both in terms of the types that are available, and, you know, this type is for this specific area and so on, and their longevity has improved as well. Okay. Looks like we're up to Yalda. Hiya, I bought the BHA liquid exfoliant, retinol and C15 booster. Can you help me with the order I should be using this? Sure. The exfoliant can go on first. You can use that once or twice a day. And then we've got the C15 booster and the retinol product. Between those two, you don't have to put them on at the same time. Excuse me. It's fine to use retinol during the day as long as you're protecting your skin with sunscreen. I am a fan of using retinol at night because I am one of those people that likes using fewer products during the day, but I do think there is a lot to be said for using a vitamin C product during the day because of the volume of research that has shown how helpful vitamin C can be in protecting your skin from environmental assault. Things like blue light, things like pollution, and things, of course, even UV light. Vitamin C in the skin plays a role. As we get older, as we accumulate more sun damage, our skin's natural supply of vitamin C starts to dwindle, and then at the same time, skin becomes less able to keep up with the amounts that it would naturally produce when we were younger. Go figure. So adding that during the day, I think, even if you are wearing a sunscreen, which is a must, see, I'm trying to be really good about that, is great. So if you're layering, if you want to use them at the same time, which product goes on first is really about texture. So if the vitamin C C15 booster is a liquid, and if you're using our 1% retinol treatment, which is more of a lotion, then put the liquid on and then the lotion and follow with your sunscreen if you're layering. And then same principle at night if that's when you choose to layer those products. Okay. Thank you for the comment, Eric. It is a new haircut, potentially the last one I'll be able to get for a while. Who knows? Aphrodite, hello. Can I use retinol after vitamin C at night? Yes. Yes, you can. They will not deactivate each other. They play nicely together. They actually help each other work better. They have a nice stabilizing influence on each other. Alexandra, hi Brian, do you know if coenzyme Q10 interacts with BHA or with azelaic acid or with vitamin C? I haven't seen any research indicating coenzyme Q10 has that contraindication. On a skincare ingredient label, you would see coenzyme Q10 listed by its chemical name of ubiquinone. It's a great antioxidant. It's actually one of the supplements I take because as we get older, our body is less and less able to make coenzyme Q10. When you're younger, 20s, 30s, and of course even younger than that, you've likely got plenty of it. But I think it's an important antioxidant to consider taking as a supplement when you get older. Consult your healthcare provider. Look at sites like consumerlab.com that's reviewed various coenzyme Q10 supplements. I'm not aware, though, of any interactions or why that would be on skin. It's an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory as well. So if anything, in terms of using it with vitamin C, particularly if you're referring to vitamin C as ascorbic acid, I would think that coenzyme Q10 would have a nice stabilizing effect. And I believe, I have to double check this, I believe it is one of those antioxidants that is both water and fat soluble. So it can help with both types, vitamin C being water soluble, retinol. Did you ask about retinol too? No, you didn't. But retinol is a fat-soluble antioxidant. Andrea, I love PC's product, but it was the Eucerin Eczema Cream that saved my skin this winter. Okay. First time in 50 years with no cracked, bleeding fingertips or splits on knuckles. Slather under gloves at night. That's excellent. And yeah, I think I forgot to mention at the top of the show when I was discussing putting that on my son's hands that he also went to sleep with gloves on, because what he will do if you don't have those gloves on is this. He does not like having the cream on his hands, and he'll wipe it off the first chance he gets. But he will wear the gloves because they have dinosaurs on them. Okay, Paula, how can I incorporate BHA, tretinoin, and benzoyl peroxide in my routine without disrupting my skin's barrier? And you're referring to a benzoyl peroxide cleanser. So a benzoyl peroxide cleanser, make sure it doesn't have any drying cleansing agents. Make sure it doesn't have any sodium lauryl sulfate, laureth, ETH. Sulfate is okay. There are gentler ones even than that on the market. We've started using those in our newer facial cleansers. Well, that and a lot of people are just wanting to avoid sulfates, period. Anything that ends in sulfate. So it can be tricky, but it can be done. What I would suggest, Paula, is that after you cleanse your face, you apply a really hydrating toner, such as we make several. Our toners are non-irritating. They're super gentle. You could look at the one from our Earth Sourced collection. You could look at our Resist Advanced Replenishing Toner. That's the one I use. The Skin Recovery. Skin Recovery Replenishing? No? What is it called? Skin Recovery. Let's just call it Skin Recovery Toner. I'm missing the other adjective. That's like, my brain has a blank for that. But the idea with that is that all of those products instantly put back what cleansing can take away if there's some barrier disruption involved. And they can do that with ingredients that you don't have to worry will clog your pores or make breakouts worse. They're just super fluid, lightweight, refreshing, non-drying. Where did your question leave off? Okay, next we get to the BHA. So that would go on next. And I would suggest if you're just starting tretinoin, separate the application so that you're putting the BHA exfoliant on in the morning. After you use your benzoyl peroxide wash, apply a toner to put back what the cleanser takes away and help your skin feel immediately comfortable. Put on your BHA and then put on your daytime moisturizer with sunscreen. Follow with makeup if you use it. At night, you can, instead of the BHA, after you cleanse and you apply your toner, then you can put your tretinoin on. And then as you see after a period of time how your skin is adapting to the tretinoin, you can work, if you feel it's needed, you can work the BHA exfoliant into your nighttime routine where it would go on before the tretinoin, and then you could follow with any serum or booster or moisturizer type product that is appropriate for your skin type and concerns. All right, we've got just a few minutes left, and there's a lot of questions. This has been a busy show. Last couple shows, it was sort of like, I think I got through all the questions before the hour was up. Where did we leave off? We did Andrea, Paula, Alexandra. Thank you for the compliment, Alexandra. Branch and Sparrow, hi Bryan, is it okay to use 8% AHA gel exfoliant and 2% BHA liquid in the under eye area? Yes. As always, pay attention to how your skin responds. We recommend taking them up to the orbital bone, that bony ridge area, and you can apply up here very carefully, but I don't advise applying either type of exfoliant to your eyelid. Not because it'll cause the sky to fall, but because when you put any product that you put on your eyelid area, as it warms to your body temperature, you run the risk of it getting into the eye itself. And if you recall the question from earlier in the show with the person that was asking about the the dry skin, the dry patches on the eyelids, those products I recommended using in that area are, again, super gentle. Even petrolatum, a lot of ointments that you would use like in the eye itself for various issues actually have petrolatum in them. I mean, it's considered, it is not considered an ocular irritant, whereas the alpha and beta hydroxy acids are. So you just need to be careful. Martsu, hi Brian, I've heard that hyaluronic acid can actually be bad for the skin, irritating, etc. Do you know what kind of hyaluronic acid is bad, and is it still safe to use? There's some interesting information out there about different molecular weights of hyaluronic acid and how far they penetrate, and if they're going too far into the skin and the molecular size is too small, are they or are they not inciting inflammation? This is one more, and that can happen. This is one more reason, though, why you want to look for a balanced formulation that has hyaluronic acid and or its salt form, sodium hyaluronate. So, for example, in our hyaluronic acid booster, we use different molecular weights, high and medium and low, of hyaluronic acid, as well as sodium hyaluronate, yeast extract, glycerin, other ingredients that help support its how it works in the uppermost layers of skin. And the lower molecular weight is not likely to cause inflammation. It's really more about getting to that level of the epidermis, your skin's uppermost layers, where it can have a slight plumping effect and not going further into the skin where it could cause inflammation. So I don't think you need to be concerned if you're looking at a hyaluronic acid product from any brand that has a nice mix of supporting ingredients as opposed to just like water and low molecular weight hyaluronic acid and a solvent type ingredient that's really going to push it further into the skin. I'd have to check, because now you've got me curious about like the kind of hyaluronic acid that is used in dermal fillers. What is the molecular weight of that? And is there any information about that and inflammation? I haven't seen that, but I just wanted to reassure you, specific to the Paula's Choice products that contain those ingredients, not just our hyaluronic acid booster, we are aware of that potential and we formulate to avoid it. Okay, any more? Ooh, I might not be able to get to every question. I know it's getting towards the end of the hour because my voice is starting to go. Jesse, are plant extracts a good ingredient in skincare? Do they hold any fragrance? I'm mostly curious about the citrus family since they are found in many vitamin C products. So, first question, are plant extracts a good ingredient in skincare? It completely depends on the plant extract. That's not a yes or no response. There are a lot of great plant extracts and there are a lot of problematic plant extracts, and I would include the citrus in that group because whether you're talking about the peel, whether you're talking about the fruit itself or the rind or the oil, what makes, when you cut into a lemon or open up a grapefruit and you get that refreshing citrus aroma, that is coming from all parts of the fruit, some more than others in terms of the concentration, but all of those are volatile fragrance ingredients that can trigger skin irritation, even if those ingredients aren't irritating in and of themselves. When you put them on skin, what research has shown, and this is really interesting, is that a lot of those volatile compounds, when they are in contact with skin and they interact with oxygen in our environment, It's here. Can't escape it unless you want to die. But when they interact, the fragrant ingredients start oxidizing and can trigger free radicals to be generated right there on skin surface, which is not good. Your skin has enough free radicals to deal with on its own. You don't need to do anything to help that process along. So that's why we typically speak out against citrus ingredients and products. I don't know why so many brands include them in their vitamin C products, even when they have a great amount of just pure vitamin C. Other than with the consumer perception around natural ingredients, and if it's natural, it must be wonderful. Not true. Good and bad natural ingredients, or that vitamin C is so strongly associated with citrus fruits that consumers expect to see that along for the ride, and they do impart a nice fragrance. I love how an orange smells, but I don't want to put it on my skin. Okay, let's do a couple more here. Poppy says, nice to see you and stay healthy and everything good. I'm working on it. I have a question. Can I have Paula's Choice Vitamin C Boost in the fridge? We typically do not recommend refrigerating our products. They are stability tested at both hot and cold temperatures, but they perform best and will last the longest when they're stored at room temperature. In terms of something like a facial mask from us or even from another company, if you like that cooling sensation that comes from keeping the product cold, maybe put it in your refrigerator half an hour to an hour before you plan to use it, and then let it go back to room temperature versus keeping it cold for an extended period of time. You could end up hurting the stability and the effectiveness of the product. All right, one more question. Let's grab someone from the bottom here, as in the most recent question. Oh, Christian, that's a good question about regular salicylic acid and pharmaceutical salicylic acid. I don't know if there is a significant difference. I off the top of my head though, from the research I've seen, I would say no. I can't imagine what would make it a U.S. pharmacopoeia salicylic acid that you then wouldn't be able to use in a skincare product, given that in the United States at least, salicylic acid has over-the-counter drug status. I can check on that though and get back to you guys, because now, I love it when you ask me questions. It gets me curious. Okay. SM12 is suggesting at Amy Van Bree to try Clinique Take the Day Off Balm. Excellent oil balm cleanser, no sting anywhere and no essential oils, and skin is left supple and never dry. That's a great balm cleanser. Very good. Okay, I am going to wrap up. It's a little after 5. Where did that hour go? Thank you guys so much. I needed this. This was really enjoyable for me. It always is, but just in light of everything that's going on in the world right now, it was really nice to have this hour with you, and I'll be back again in a couple of weeks. And please stay well and be careful out there if you have to go out at all, and keep the faith, whatever faith gets you going. Let's all remember that we're in this together, and we'll come out okay. Take care.